Okay, so thanks first of all for taking time to hop on here tonight. Like, we do know that your time is very valuable, but I can also tell you my first year as a coach, I very rarely missed a team call. And this past year, 2016, has been a bit of a struggle for me. And so I've really been looking at what were the activities that I was doing when I was being very successful as a coach and I could see my business growing. And those are a lot of the activities I did my first year. Now, granted, I very rarely miss team calls because I feel like if a leader is taking the time to put something out there for you, like, get on the call. That's just how I've always felt. But I know one of the things that helped me be successful was definitely getting on a team call. Sarah and I decided to do a team call once a month together. Come down here and you can have a drink, Archer. And it really makes sense. I mean, we have a very good relationship as success partners, I feel like. And so it's only going to benefit you guys to get our combined brain power. And I was actually watching a training from another coach this morning, and it was a team call, and her success partner had decided in that call to get together and do team calls. So I was like, oh, that's perfect. That just reaffirms what we're doing. So we're going to leave a lot of time for you guys to be able to ask questions. We're going to take about 10 minutes each to just kind of talk about some things. And Sarah is going to be talking about like running and planning with 2017. And I'm going to be talking to you about one thing that I'm changing as far as coaching in 2017. My advice to you guys is I'm reading the 12-week year. I've just started it. And one of the things that the 12-week year talks about is that you take 12 weeks and treat it like a year, like that focused business time that you're booming your production, and that what you should, oh, nice, good job. Oh, you guys, my people, you're not even on my team. Rhiannon, I hope you feel ashamed that Sarah's team all held up the 12-week year and you did not.
Is it bad that I don't have the 12-week year?
Clearly we need to switch teams. No, I'm just kidding. See, that's the benefit of teams, right? Like,
right.
You blend in and you share and all those great things. So one of the things that he was talking about though is that for 12 weeks you concentrate. Yeah, you should get it, Rhiannon. It's good. You concentrate on your skill, and then the next 12 weeks you are like building upon that skill. So I'm actually going to suggest that you guys do the same thing. Look at the area of your business that you avoid, that you struggle with, that you just have that voice in the back of your head that says you could be better. Good job, Tiffany. That's okay though. That's awesome. So I want you to listen to that voice, because that's usually your voice that is pushing you out of your comfort zone and that you try to avoid that task. For me, that voice was being a coach, actually. I have consistently felt like my time was a little spread too thin. And I just kind of made the excuse that I do what I can do. Like, I post in my challenge groups. I check in with my challengers. If they reach out to me, I definitely answer their questions. I don't ignore them. But I wasn't necessarily seeing as many people getting the results that they wanted or participating for as long with me. Or, for me, this is a 3-year fitness journey that I have not stepped off of, really. Like, I haven't stopped. Like, yes, I've had ups and downs, but I've continued to get fitter. And even having a baby this year, I'm fitter now after carrying 5 kids and being 33 than I ever was. And I want my challengers to have those same results. But something was missing. And truthfully, what was missing was what I was providing. And not to put anybody down, but I think we learn what we're taught. And unless you are a very creative mind and you are seeking out those other trainings and you're seeking where you are weak, you might not change what you're doing. So I knew this was something I needed to change. I had it on my to-do list before the end of the year to YouTube other coaches and see what I could find out about how other coaches were running their challenge groups. Then it actually came up in our Diamond and Above group that one coach who was reading the 12-week year was talking about how she's changing her challenge group, what she's requiring. And I was looking at her list and I was like, yes, those are the things that I want to provide my challengers. And then another coach shared a picture that she uses that encompasses a lot of this. And I'm going to show you that. But I went back and I really started to think, what are the things I always wanted to do in challenge groups, but I blew off as being too time consuming? Or what are the things that I thought were great ideas that I didn't put into action? And one of those things that I had heard my very first year was a challenger coach contract. And that's what I'm creating. I'm creating it before the end of the year. I'm requiring it for all my challengers. Before I send them the email invite to get into the My Challenge tracker, they have to email me back this contract. And it's no big deal. It's typing their name in there. But what that contract is going to give them is what they can expect from me and what I'm expecting from them. So, and I will be happy to share that with you guys. I'll share it with Sarah. I'm also going to share the picture with Sarah tonight that I will show you guys in just a minute. And she can disseminate that to you guys too if you're interested. But let me just pull this up really quick. So, what I'm going to have in the beginning of my contract is just simply stating that, this is a process I take seriously. This is my job, and my job is to help them get the results they want. My job is to show up for them and provide what they need, but their job is to show up too. Like, it's not a one-way street. It has to have both people working towards it. And so that's just how I'm going to start it out, because I want them to know I do take this seriously. This is my job, and I want them to know that I am there for them. So I'm requiring that contract before they get their invitation. Once they get their invitation into the group, my first 5 to 7 days, depending on my time frame, is going to be prep week. And every day we're doing something different that I'm requiring for their picture before we start our launch day. So something I'm going to require from them is a before picture and measurements. They can put that in the My Challenge tracker. It can be something that we never discuss again if they don't want to, but at least they have it. And I really am only going to require that they do it at the beginning with their picture and their measurements, and then at the end. Every week, I am going to require some kind of progress, but it's going to be up to them, because I have challengers who do not do well if they're taking their measurements every week. But if they have a picture every week, that's fine. And then one day we're going to be working on goals. Their goals of both what they want to accomplish during that group, and then what are their long-term goals? Where do they want to see themselves in 6 months? Where do they want to see themselves in a year? Because I want to know what program I'm going to continue to plug them into, what groups I'm going to continue to invite them in, and I want them to have those milestones that we're achieving and going for. Let's see. I want to know their why. Why did they want to join this group? What's motivating them in their life right now? And then I want their affirmations that they're going to tell themselves every morning and every night before they go to bed, or when they wake up and before they go to bed. Now, of course, I'm not going to know if they do it, but if they have it and it's on their picture, it's at least getting there. And then I'm also going to require a plan on Sundays. When are they getting their workouts in that week? Because we all know if you plan out your week, you're way more successful. And then how they're doing their meals. Are they prepping for the week? Are they doing a few days? Are they doing it the night before? Are they doing it the morning of? Again, I don't care how they do it. I just want to know what they're going to be doing. And then I can help them and adjust from there. And then they're also going to have to know their meal plan bracket. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you're not asking your challengers what their nutrition plan is, I can almost guarantee you that over half of them have no idea their program has a nutrition plan. And I am not joking. There are so many times challengers will come to me and I said, well, what did your PIO book say? There's a nutrition plan in there? Yep. The 17 times we've talked about it and you didn't find it. So you have to know, like, some people you just have to be very, very direct with. And it's because they just don't know. They don't flip through the book. And if you're not following through and requiring that, they're not going to. So then that's what I'm expecting from them. What are they going to get from me? Oh, and I'm also expecting that they are checking in and supporting each other in the group. So what are they going to get from me? The very first thing that's going to stay in that contract is everything I'm requiring of them. If you want your challengers to participate in your group, you need to be the very best challenger. And I cannot tell you how many times that I've almost gone to bed and I've turned my phone off of my internet connection and I've said, crap, I did not log into my challenge app. I could have just let it go, but that's not setting the example. So I turn my phone back on, I get back in there, and I log my stuff in. So I want them to know that I'm doing the work too. They're also going to get a weekly check-in from me, and I'm just going to ask them, how did your week go? What was one victory? What are your struggles? And then I'm going to provide them the resources for those struggles. And yeah, this might take more work for me, and this might be a lot more digging and research and finding stuff out and asking other people, but this is my job. And if I want this to be my full-time job, like I'm building towards, I better take this seriously and provide that to them. And I'm kind of been working on whether I'm going to require a food log or not, whether it's all their pictures in a day or a screenshot of MyFitnessPal or something like that. I haven't quite decided that yet, but that is what I'm going to be doing. Then, so once they get me everything from their prep week, and if they don't have it on our launch day, I'm removing them from the group. I'm being firm about it. We're not continuing. You're not going to get my time if you're not going to commit in. And they will know this. It will be in our contract. I'm telling them beforehand. I will be tagging them in our prep day posts. I will be individually messaging them if they're not there. But then once they are there, I'm going to share my screen really quick. So this is, let me move you guys. So this is the picture that one of the other coaches in our group made. And she literally puts their picture here and their name. She puts in their affirmations of what they said, their short-term goals, and their long-term goals, and their why. And then she actually shared this with me. She was nice enough, because I am not tech savvy, you guys. This was almost about to make me break and hire a personal assistant. If she wouldn't have shared this with me, I was going to have to hire a personal assistant just to make my challenger pictures, because this is a nightmare for me. So she shared this with me, and I'm going to share it with Sarah, and you can certainly adjust it and do it however you want. Like, I might change this around a little bit or just do things a little bit differently, but she then sends it to them, and they can print it out. They have it, and she also prints it out. And I'm probably going to either store this on my OneDrive so that I have it and I can go through and look and see our progress, or I'm going to be printing them out and just have like my current challengers together, making notes on it, telling me where they're at with things, and just checking in that way, because I kind of am a pen and paper person. So this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to rock my coaching job and rock my challengers into the new year. So let me stop sharing. And after Sarah goes, if you guys have questions about that, we can certainly talk about it. But I want to make sure Sarah has enough time. So let me make you host, Sarah. Okay, so you're the host.
Okay. Can you guys hear me? Yeah. Okay. So as you guys can probably tell, Kara and I think a lot alike. So for you guys that are on my team, all of this probably sounds like exact same wording that I would have used to explain all of that to you. But I had a couple thoughts while you were doing that, and I love it all. So I was really glad that you got that picture from her, because once I saw that in that Diamond Buff group today, I was like, I'm making it. I'm gonna have my assistant make it, because I'm not savvy like that either. So it was really nice of her to share that with us and to have. But one thing I just had this idea, you could also, this is, just like little tweaking and like making the challenge group fun. If you have like a Facebook group, you could always make the cover photo of your challengers' goals, so like it's up there and like you can stay motivated with each other. And then I'm going to screen share real quick just to show you, because we're just kind of transitioning from that topic. I've started incorporating a lot of that tracking and like building your book of transformations kind of. And something that I do that I did have my assistant help me organize this, because it's tedious if you don't start from the beginning. 1 second here. Okay, so can you guys see that on my screen? You can't see my screen yet? Yeah, okay. So I have just a folder. I use Google Drive, and I have just a folder of people. So you guys can see that here. And then once you open it, like I have their information, some of their goals. She did a 3-day refresh, so it's pretty close with the dates, but like their beginning stats and ending stats, and it just keeps going. And I always lock this one so I can see the progression right away. Right? So it's kind of easy in that way too, like if you need something else besides that photo just to keep tracking, because you'll have customers that stay with you for a while. If they build a lot of trust with you, they're going to stick with you and they know that you're there for them. So if you start with, a contract like that, which is actually something, Kara, that we used to do, and I don't know why we got away from these Challenger contracts, where along the line we did, but I still have one. So I'll probably update that and use it because it's a really good idea to start bringing that back. But anyways, I just wanted to show you this because then it's really easy to just flip through. And in the folders, I have like their before and afters and stuff too. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing, but that was just my thoughts I wanted to share on that. So anyways, so let's talk about planning, which is like one of my favorite topics. And you guys are, those of you who are on this call and people that are going to be watching it, you know the basics already. Like, you know what you're supposed to do in your power hour, and if you don't, you can easily find those in any of our groups. You guys know our group is loaded with it, and I know Kara provides all that information. So if you don't know the basics by now, you need to go back and be your own researcher and figure out what the heck you're supposed to do in that power hour, okay? But really just focus on the basics. The beauty of what we do is that this is not a difficult business, but it's by no means easy, okay? So you just have to focus on the basic activities that are going to get you to where you want to be in your power hour, okay? And that's the first step in planning. So if you focus on the basics, you're going to sit down at your computer and you're not going to say, okay, what do I do today? Should I just scroll Facebook and see who I should find to talk to? What do I need to do? Because you all know that you can have a bunch of things jumbled in your head, and when you sit down to do it, you're like, crap, what was I going to do? Especially if you're a parent, or especially if you're, have other obligations and people are pulling at you and you're all over the place. It's very easy to get distracted. And the reason you want to be able to focus on the basics and be consistent with this is because you want to build a business. Just like Kara said, this is your business. Yes, it's a very fun one, but it's still a business, right? You have to do business-oriented tasks along with the fun stuff, okay? And along with like all the feelings and the emotions and the foo-foo things, you have to do the business tasks. And you want this to be, when you're building your team, you want your coaches to be able to duplicate this. And if you can't stay consistent with the basics of doing your power hour, they're not going to either, because they're going to be learning from you. Do you know what I mean? So you want to be able to build a strong and solid foundation, and you have to do that by honing in on that focus. Okay, whatever you need to do, turn off distractions, turn off the TV, set your phone alarm, whatever you need to do, turn your phone freaking off, turn on airplane mode, whatever you have to do to eliminate those distractions so you can focus, okay? And so I have a couple tips for you. So number one is your tracking, okay? And I know we talk about this a lot, and you probably think I'm super annoying for saying that word again, but you have to track your business, okay? And I'm not just talking about the people you talk to, okay? But yeah, obviously you're going to add your new friends. You're going to go through that list of your power of threes or daily fours, whatever you're using to track, however you do it, whether it's electronically, whether it's pen and paper. Yes, the people. But you got to track your budget. Okay, and Kara's really good at this. She has a lot of good tips that I usually pick her brain for anyways. But you got to track your budget. You got to have an advertising budget. You have to think about this stuff because you are a business owner now. And I know, like, if you're just getting into this kind of thing, it might be overwhelming. It might feel like, I don't have an advertising budget. I barely make $14 a cycle bonus. It will come. Okay, but if you don't plan for it, if you don't start saying, okay, well, I'm making $14 from the cycle bonus on top of my commissions, I'm going to take $4 out of that cycle bonus and run a 4-day ad for $1 a day. You have to start doing that kind of thing to build up momentum as a business owner, okay, in your advertising game, right? So things like your budget, along with the people you're talking to. What is your business plan for 2017? You have to have a business plan. Whether it's you want to rank advance, okay, how are you going to get there? Do you want to build a certain amount of income? Do you want to help a certain number of people? Like, all of that stuff matters. So you have to start tracking this stuff. And your method of tracking might look different than mine, might look different than Kara's. Tiffany, you guys all might have a different way, and that's totally fine, but as long as you keep it organized, as long as you can keep reminders and checking on that. For me personally, I do a combination of things. Obviously, I love my Excel docs and I love my Google Drive. But I actually use a passion planner, and the first one I ever got was from Kara, so she got me turned on to it. But I'm just going to show you. I don't have my new one yet, but this is what it looks like. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that. You can see my nose, but it's broken down by day and hour, and it goes through the whole year. And then I also use a large desk calendar, okay? And that's just Beachbody stuff. So that's how I start planning out like my challenge groups and my monthly stuff, and I'll get to that in a minute. But you got to have a system that works for you, okay? So my system might seem all over the place. You might want it all on your iCalendar or whatever you use, or, you know, whatever it is that you're using. But you have to start tracking everything, okay? Your posting schedule, your challenge group schedule, your budget, your business plan, the people you talk to, that all comes together like that's your hand, that's your fist. Budget, business plan, people, challenge groups, whatever the last one I said, that's your hand, okay? That's your hand, that's your business right here in a nutshell, okay? That's just off the top of my head, you guys. So that's what you just got to start tracking, okay? And number 2 is to plan your week better, okay? Be a planner. If this is an area that you're weak in, get better, okay? It's up to you to get better. Nobody's going to do it for you because this is not anybody else's business. It's yours. So pick a day, okay? So things to do to plan your week better. Pick a day that's just for planning, okay? Generally, I would recommend doing this on the weekend unless you really work a lot of weekends, you know, but you pick a day that works for you, and that is your planning day. You are going to plan your whole week, okay? And I always recommend write down your non-negotiables first. When do you have to work? When do you have to drop your kids off somewhere? When do you have a doctor's appointment? Stuff like that that you can't move around. And then start piecing your business hours in around that, okay? Don't worry, we're going to expand on this. And then number 2 for that is to make a list. Brain dump. What do you need to get done? Okay, and then from that list, prioritize. What has to get done? Like, should have been done yesterday. What's urgent? Okay, what's semi-urgent that you don't necessarily have to do today? Maybe you could do in a couple days when you have more flexibility. And then number 3, what would you like to get done? So you got to, you know, this week, but could wait till next week. So you want to rank your activities in your brain dump in order of importance, and then you can start piecing those in throughout your week. Does that make sense? You follow me? Yeah? Okay. So that's how you can start to plan your week better. So whatever planner you use, whether it's electronic or writing, pick a day for planning and organize what you need to do. Okay, and then tip number 3 is to organize your month. Okay, so once you have your weeks, you know, like when your business hours are going to be, what do you need to get done? You got to expand on that. So first, before you can even do that, you got to figure out what do you want to promote? What are you going to run this month? As a general rule, we want to do a free group every month. We want to do a challenge group. And then you want to do some kind of sneak peek into coaching. Okay, whether it's a big event, whether it's a 1-hour thing, whether it's a 3-day, 4-day, however you want to run it, you need to promote coaching too, okay? So at a bare minimum, you have 3 things that you should be promoting throughout the month, okay? So you want to look at your whole month and say, okay, well, when do I want my challenge groups to start? And if you're just starting out with this, you know, you definitely want to make sure you have like 2 to 3 weeks for promoting that kind of stuff to be able to fill those up. So I'm just going to give you an example for me. I generally have my challenge group start the last Monday of every month. And that helps me because I kind of go, the first 2 weeks of the month, I focus on filling up my challenge groups. Okay, so my posts are scheduled based around that. I can, you know, make sure my posting schedule is up to date and I'm posting relevant information. So I fill up my challenge groups. Once I do that, because that allows them to, you know, have those challenge packs bought, get everything organized, and I can move them right into prep week. And then you'll notice that my posts are going to be transitioned more towards coaching. And then the second 2 weeks of the month, I'm going to focus on coaching because I'm going to be running a sneak peek coming up again, like at the beginning of the month. Does that make sense? So in those sneak peeks, you can have those conversations. You can get people set up because then I also have my new coach training that starts at the beginning of each month. So it might seem a little backwards, but for me it works because then most people that you first start talking about coaching, for example, they might not join you right away. They might need that whole month leading up. And then you can say, perfect, my next new coach training starts next week on the 1st. Are you ready? So that gives me time to nurture that relationship and have those conversations if they have objections and get them rolled right into a challenge group, maybe new coach training, whatever they're ready for. Do you know what I mean? So you have to kind of play it out in your mind. How do you want your month to run? Then you can organize and sit down and say, okay, here's when this is going to start. That it gives me 2 to 3 weeks to start promoting and filling that up. Then I can switch gears and focus on coaching. For me, that works because then I'm not scattered thinking like, okay, well, I need to fill up my challenge group, but I also need coaches. What do I post about? What do I focus on? It makes me sharper. It makes my posts more consistent. It makes them better quality because I know what I'm talking about. And it just makes it systematic for me. So one thing to think about when you are planning your month, remember like holidays that are coming up, vacations that you are taking. It's okay to change up your routine a little bit. Like, for example, if you have a big family vacation coming up, try to fill your challenge group or try to base it, have a start date around your own schedule because you can do that. Okay, you're a business owner, you can do that. So think about, I try to plan a couple months ahead and then I'll tweak it as the month gets closer. And then I want to show you real quick what